Last month, a tragic loss of life near Lindsay in eastern Ontario triggered the need for the SIU, also known as the Special Investigations Unit, because the shooting involved the Ontario Provincial Police. Marcia McLeod is our new Eastern Ontario Hub journalist, and she joins us now from the provincial capital for more. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for the welcome, Jan.
Now, Marcia, you are the newest member of TVO's Ontario Hub's regional reporting team. Before we get into your latest, what do you bring to the team with your reporting?
Yeah, so a little bit about my background. I've reported on both sides of the US-Canada border. And what I've really focused on in my career so far has been corrections, criminal legal systems, healthcare, and policing, including fatal shootings by police. And for TVO, though, I'm going to be taking a really pretty wide breadth, looking at those issues, as well as things like climate change, agriculture, farming, housing and homelessness, and as well as, of course, COVID-19 and the impacts on people and the economy.
Of course. Now, for your first for TVO.org, it was about a fatal shooting by police near Lindsay. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So on the morning of November 26th, the OPP was made aware that a 33-year-old father had abducted his 1-year-old child from a home near Bobcaygeon. And what we know that happened next is about 30 kilometers away from Bobcaygeon, that father, that driver, he slammed into an OPP officer. As that officer was laying down spike strips, he severely injured the officer. And now it gets a little bit murky. We don't know exactly what happened, but 3 officers did fire their weapons at the father, striking him. He died about a week later in hospital. And we know that during that encounter, somebody shot and killed that 1-year-old child who was pronounced dead on the scene. And as you mentioned, the SIU is now investigating.
Of course, a tragic situation, but what's so unusual about this one?
Well, what's really unusual about this case is that we don't yet know whether a police officer did in fact shoot that child. And the reason there's some ambiguity is that the SIU has said in press releases that a handgun was located in the suspect's pickup truck. What they have not said is where it was located, whether the father held it, brandished it, fired it. However, we do know it was located. It brings some ambiguity into the situation. And what's really unusual about that is I actually spoke with 4 lawyers, 2 of whom former directors of the SIU, and they all said they were unable to think of a similar case where it was uncertain whether a police officer or a civilian shot and killed someone.
So it's been a couple weeks since the shooting took place. What's the progress in terms of the investigation on the SIU? What have they made public, and what do we know?
So as of Monday, the SAU said that 14 witness officers and 12 civilians have been interviewed about the incident. The 3 officers who are the subject of the investigation have not yet been interviewed, but that's not unusual. In Ontario, subject officers are not compelled to give either an interview or provide their notes to the SIU. And this really follows from the fact that civilians are not required to give interviews. We have the right to remain silent and not provide incriminating testimony. And so that's one element. The other element has to do with firearms. So the suspect's firearm, or the firearm that was located in the suspect's truck, has been transferred to the Center of Forensic Sciences, which will do ballistics analysis on that firearm. And just very briefly, ballistics analysis is essentially the practice of, or it can include the practice of matching bullets or cartridge cases to a particular firearm. So basically seeing which firearm shot which bullet. So that the suspect's firearm has been transferred. However, the 3 officers' firearms have not yet been transferred to the CFS, and the SIU says that's because they're waiting for approval from the center.
I want to pick up on a point that you made earlier. Do people agree that police, public servants with guns, should be treated just like civilians?
There is some disagreement on that. So, for instance, Howard Morton, a former director of the SIU, said to me that he's long disagreed that police officers should not be required to give an interview or provide their notes. His reason being that police officers should be held to a higher standard than the public, given that they're public servants and they carry a firearm.
This, of course, is a small community. What's the reaction been from the ground there?
Yeah. So my sense is that the community is really shaken. Kawartha Lake's mayor, Andy Latham, has said the word that he used is disbelief, that the community is just really in disbelief that this is something that would happen there.
Now, of course, you're going to be keeping an eye on this story. What can we expect as we move forward?
There's going to be two main things that I'm looking at. So the first one really is I want to learn more about the events that led up to three officers deciding to discharge their firearms. Um, we really, again, don't know how much time elapsed between when the crash occurred and when those shots were fired. Was it 5 seconds? Was it 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 minutes? We don't know. And the other thing that I'm really looking at is the question of whether or not the SIU will inform the public whether a police officer shot this child when they become aware of that and they confirm that. So, and the reason why that's so significant is that in the past, or at least in 2019, the SIU took about 6 months to work through what they call full-blown cases. So if they decide to wait until the conclusion of the investigation to release that information, the public could be waiting quite a significant period of time.
I'm curious, the SIU has been in the past criticized for how long it can take, to complete these investigations. Do we see this being sped up or just based on how tragic the situation is?
Well, one thing that's really important to note that actually just this month, regulations passed such that for any delays after 4 months of investigation, the SIU now needs to provide an accounting for why those delays occurring. And I've also heard, sort of competing perspectives on whether or not this investigation might be sped up. One individual said to me it might be sped up just because of, there's such public interest in knowing what happened. And somebody else said to me, look, because this is so contentious, it may take extra time, having a second individual review the postmortems and et cetera.
Marcia, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the show. Of course, something we will keep our eyes out for. That's Marcia McLeod, our Eastern Ontario Hub journalist. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.